Action Childhood Arrivals Program participants known as DACA. I just want to show you what Homeland Security Secretary Nielsen had to say as she made her way into the White House this morning. She was asked by reporters in the driveway about this. Let's listen.
Could you tell us what's your relationship with the president and if those reports about a resignation letter are in fact true?
We have a very strong relationship. I think what is true is we're both really frustrated. We need Congress to act. We at DHS are committed to doing everything we can within the law, but the law's broken. And the American people are frustrated, and so are we.
Was the president in any way personally frustrated with your leadership?
Not that I believe so, no. I think he's just frustrated with the process, right? I mean, here's a president who has said continually we must protect American communities. And the reality is the law prevents him from doing so completely. So I would be...
In what way? Can you give us specific?
Sure. So there's lots of loopholes. You know, the loopholes that requires to do catch and release, the loopholes that requires to release criminal aliens back into communities, the loopholes that do not allow us to keep gang members out of this country. So, you know, it goes on and on and on. But he's made very clear to Congress this is the changes that we need to make to the law to protect our communities, and we just haven't been able to get Congress to act.
What's the problem?
Yeah. I think it's, you know, it's a timing issue, perhaps, meaning that they're just never in session, right? I mean, they take lots of recesses. They have other things to do. So we've encouraged them, stay in session, get your job done.
Congressman?
I don't know Ms. Nielsen very well. I think that there are changes that need to be made in the immigration law, but that we don't need a wall. That's just a campaign promise he wants to keep, unlike the campaign promise of seeing to that we negotiate for better drug prices. That's a campaign promise that's all been forgotten, but he's all up on this wall. And I think drug prices for seniors is what's important, and drug prices for everybody. The donut hole needs to be closed, and people need to see that they can afford drugs to maintain their health. And the way to do that is to have the power of the federal government through its Medicaid and Medicare folks negotiate for better prices on behalf of the American public. That's something Trump ran on and something he has forgotten. It's a promise made and a promise broken.
Another issue to get your reaction on is in the New York Times, there's a plan by the DNC to make superdelegates a lot less super. One plan is to reduce the number of superdelegates from 700 to about 280. Some officials said they preferred a proposal in which only elected government officials and not party leaders retain their superdelegate status. Were you ever a superdelegate? What do you make of this?
As an elected congressman, I've been a superdelegate. Whatever the DNC does is fine with me. I think that a congressman should be part of the delegation and should vote. There are a lot of other folks that maybe don't need to be superdelegates, and the superdelegates do some advice that's important as far as electability. The whole thing with Hillary Clinton, she won without the superdelegates. She had, I think, I don't know, 80% of the superdelegates, maybe 90, but she won the popular vote too and had most of the delegates. So that's kind of a different situation, but I understand people want democracy, and I certainly do too, and have less superdelegates is fine with me.
Have you signed on, I'm going to go back to immigration, have you signed on to this discharge petition?
I plan to today. The line was too long yesterday, and I didn't have a chance.
The line, there was a line to sign on.
Well, there are still 195 Democrats, and we had held off at the request of the other parties. They got 22 Republicans. I think they need 25 to go with all the Democrats, and everybody was lined up. I think the line was at least 30 people deep.
Of lawmakers trying to sign this discharge
Democrats.
Democrats trying to sign the discharge petition.
So all the Democrats probably will sign on by the end of the day.
Yeah, we heard from the minority leader yesterday, Nancy Pelosi, saying 99% of Democrats are on board with this discharge petition. What kind of guidance are you getting from the leadership?
Well, as far as, I mean, they encourage us to sign on, and I would sign on. I had a discharge petition to protect Mueller, and I got all Democrats. I think we had 178 to have the Mueller protection bill come to the floor, which I think should come to the floor to give him due process if in case he's fired, and a hearing before a 3-judge federal panel to make sure if he's fired for cause. This, I mean, you just have to think about it, Greta. This man is under character assassination. This man, he should be given a medal at the end of this. They should consider putting him on Mount Rushmore. I mean, this is a great man.
Well, Congressman Steve Cohen, Democrat of Tennessee, Judiciary Committee member, we thank you for your time this morning.
You're
Appreciate
welcome,
it.
Greta. Nice to be with you.
And we